Greetings, beautiful souls and beautiful humans. This will be an introduction video to my YouTube channel. I want to share the ideas that I have in mind of what this channel will be, and also express some of me and share who I am. And yeah, so hope everybody's doing well today. Whenever you see it. There's good in all, even if you're going through bad times right now. There's a good outlook. Just keep going through and keep flowing with what life has to offer you, and keep growing through what you're going through. But I am Zane Ironman. Yeah, a little bit about myself. We'll start this off with my childhood. It's been a crazy road for me, from ever since I was a kid to the life I live now. The spiritual journey is much more than what the mind comprehends. But from going back to when I was a child, my parents had gotten separated and a divorce when I was very young. I was around 2, I believe. I'm not too sure on that. I don't have very vivid memory of that moment. I was born in Illinois. I lived in Indiana until I was 2 years old. Parents separated. My mom moved to Michigan, and my dad stayed in Indiana. So during my life, I've had to drive back and forth. I would see my dad every other weekend and spend very little time with him. But now, as a grown man, I have communicated more and have tried spending my time more with him, which is a blessing, and it's important to stay communicating with the ones that we thought hurt us or the ones that did hurt us. And it's important to show our love that we have for those people, even if they did cause some pain in us. Everything happens for reasons. It's up to us to keep the love and to keep an open heart and to continue to communicate with that. So up to then, I was living in Michigan with my mom and my sister. I grew up in a household of women. And I'm actually very thankful that I did grow up in a household of women, because of the kind-hearted and the soul that the feminine carries. And the feminine energy is very, very powerful. The feminine holds a lot. They're the ones that bring a baby and the spirit to this physical life, which is it's magical. I can't express it in words. But my mom taught me very well manners when I was a kid. I was raised pretty well in that household. She taught me please, thank you, and yes sir, and yes ma'am, and things like that. So I did get taught by my mother as well. I thank my mother like a lot for the man I am today. During the time we lived in Michigan, I believe I was about 4 years old to I don't know, till I was older. There was a man that was around me and my family. I love the man to death. I love everybody, and everybody makes mistakes. Everybody goes into I don't know, because I haven't been there myself, only on the other end. But I had a man that would physically touch me and sexually abuse me as a kid. It happened for years, and I didn't know that it was wrong because it was just what my life was. Um, the the it turned me into a very sexual man as a young man, like a young boy. Like I yeah, it was very difficult in terms of that. I didn't tell anybody because I was scared. I was just a kid, and I loved the guy, so I didn't want to get him in trouble in any way. Um, but reflecting back as a man now, it did definitely have some trauma in my life because and from me not being able to control sexual energies to being very sexual and then being afraid to express that, like being afraid to talk to women and things like that. But expressing is very important. Me expressing this to this camera, me expressing it out to the public, it's important. That's what heals us. Like through all the good and bad that I've done or I've experienced, it's all a part of me, and that's what builds us into the character and into the man and the woman that we are, into the human being we are. um, yeah. uh, Through those times I had to learn to control my sexual energies. Just the past few years I've been practicing retention, not masturbating, uh, not watching porn. Porn is not good for the mind. Porn is a false dopamine. It is. There's a lot of things within porn that is not real, and um, it's not real in general. It's all just an act. So it doesn't teach us in those terms, and it's not beneficial to us. It's a false dopamine we're receiving. It is a false advertisement, as in, it's not good for the mental health nor the physical. Um, Practicing retention, going weeks without masturbation, without self pleasure, um, as well as Um, not putting myself out there for reasons to not have sexual interactions. It's been over 2 years for me, but it's what I want and what I needed to do to heal myself. I don't want to hurt anybody. I've been hurt, my heart's been hurt before. Um, I have to do what I have to do to become a better man so that I can support a family in this life and to evolve the next generation. We're here to learn ourselves, to then learn from our children, to then teach our children, and to make this world a better place. Um, the but I have I've realized the sexual retentions and the controlling the mind in that realm, because of it was brought up such a young age that it was an addiction to me to feel that way. The control of saying no, the control of putting myself like away from woman, or putting myself away from my phone and telling myself no to masturbation and things like that, truly heal me and make me a stronger mentality, stronger person, and stronger man. And anytime we like say no to urges, or say no to say no to what we know is wrong, it builds us stronger, builds us into a more powerful character. And it helps us make better life choices. It helps us strive and want better for this world and for this planet. It all starts within ourselves, and us wanting to be better for ourselves helps the world become a better place. That entire thing was like probably 4 years old to about 10 years old. Then yeah, after that I got a stepfather, and we moved to a little town not far from where I grew up at, but it was out in the country, and it was amazing. We had 10 acres, and I got to ride four-wheelers, and we had a pond, and I had everything as a kid. But leaving that school, leaving that environment, I was very comfortable in my elementary school. I was an expresser. I expressed myself in all ways. I communicated with the entire school, the entire grade. But when we moved, that big shift for me, and having to meet new people and having to meet new friends, I became a very shy person. I became a very, very shy person. And it was all fun, all the four-wheelers, all the family time, all of the new things. It was all change. It was all great things. When I got to school, though, it was very, very shy. I didn't express. I didn't know how to express. I didn't know how to communicate. And but when I got there, it was hard for me to open up. And I made friends with a few buddies. We definitely were high energy, kept them trapped in the school, and had no clue what to do. Yeah. Being shy in school. One friend came up to me, shout out my buddy Alex Stoner, and he offered me beef jerky, and we became best friends throughout that. But and then I met my buddy Nathan. We were both like comedians at the time. Like, we both have comedy minds, and in school we would bump heads all the time, because we were all trying to be the class clown, and if girls were laughing at him, then I was mad at him. If girls were laughing at me, then he was mad at me, and it goes hand in hand. But today we're beautiful friends. We're beautiful brothers. We have a lot in common. We share and express ourselves in all the ways that we need to. We help one another out, and that brothership is never going to break. That bond is never going to break. After all that, middle school, I started to do YouTube and express myself through a camera, and try something, and try to be a content creator and make something out of it. And I expressed myself, and I pushed that throughout the school, and expressed my YouTube channel and things like that. And the grade above me and kids ended up bullying me and making fun of me for who I was and what I wanted to do. And so I really got pushed down mentally from that experience. 8th grade, I started smoking weed, I started vaping, and I started experiencing with pharmaceutical drugs, which are terrible for you. And I'm not expressing all this to tell you to go do this. I'm telling you not to do this because I have learned and lived from this. And if you can learn and live from me, then that's then that gets you further ahead type deal. I'm expressing my experience to teach you guys what to do. And yeah, 8th grade, I started getting into pharmaceuticals, started downing myself, like numbing myself because of the people bullying me. And the school was all about sports and athletes and things like that. So they were all like, yeah, all about the sports. And 4th grade, I had so many concussions that the doctor said I couldn't play football anymore. And that was like a really cool sport that I enjoyed to express, to tackle, to like, yeah, be my masculine self. And I got shut down from that. So when I hopped into school, I wasn't about sports, I was just about living. And so getting shut down from me wanting to make YouTube videos and things like that really hurt me, and I numbed myself through pharmaceuticals, through other things like that. um, so 8th grade through freshman year, I got really bad. I got really bad into drugs and things like that. And after in freshman year, I had enough of it, and I just started going into this very hate-hearted person. I hated everybody. I hated myself. I hated everything. And I was tired of getting picked on. I was tired of it. And there was one day that I had enough, and I went up to the kid that like caused pain in me, and I started hitting him. And after that experience, I ended up leaving school, going to online school. And during all of that hardships, during all of the separation with my stepdad and my mom, this was all happening at once. So it was a lot to happen. And my papa passing away, like, there was so much in this one section. And I ended up finding a contractor that came and helped my mom sell her house or whatever. I worked for him, and I did online school. And but during all of that, I was still dabbling into drugs and everything. And I had one close friend that asked if I wanted to take mushrooms. And as a young mind, as a drug addict, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I'm all about it. And so we fast forward to getting the mushrooms. I was about 15 years old, and I took a huge dose. I was about 6 grams or more, and I had a very, very, very spiritual awakening. And it was intense. I don't have a vivid memory at this very moment of everything that did happen that night, but I know that I came to my senses. I came to full awareness, and I realized what I was doing in my life was wrong, and all of the pain, and I felt all of it. I felt all of the pain that I was numbing, and all of the things that I was running from, all there at once. And I expressed it all, and I felt who I truly was in that essence and that presence. And after that experience, I definitely had a different perspective on life, and I started diving deeper into the spirituality, which the whole life is spiritual. Don't have a definition or a thing to find spiritual. Spirit, like, this is all spiritual. This entire existence is spiritual. But so 15 through 16, I would take and experience a bunch of psychedelics and God's medicines. I thank God for these medicines, and I don't want them to be used as drugs, because they are not drugs. They are very powerful spirits and very healing spirits that are within this medicine. And but during 15 through 17 years old, I experienced a lot of psychs. I would eat quite a bit of mushrooms every night, and I experienced my own emotions. But after my emotions really released, I felt all of my mother's traumas. I felt all of my sister's traumas. I felt all of my family's traumas come into me, and I released it all. I bawled, I cried my eyes out, and I was releasing the family's traumas through this vessel. And it was a very, very powerful experience for me as a 15, 16-year-old kid. It really like widened my eyes. It was very intense and scary in the times, actually, because I had this open mind. And the way I communicated, the way I talked to my family, it didn't seem like I was understood. Like they couldn't see me as who I was and who I am. And it was very difficult for me, because like I was this very wild spirit, this very awakened kid and conscious kid, and the rest of the family didn't seem like to understand. So I just kept diving deeper within myself, and I sat a lot. And when everybody was socializing at school, I was sitting in my room, and yeah, I was diving deeper within here, and within here my heart, and within here my mind, which is, it's all one, and piecing these two together is what it's about. But yeah, during all those experiences, I've learned that that's it's simple. Life is truly a gift, and don't take anything for granted. Everything happens for reasons. The good, the bad, all of it. Like I had all these traumas and everything, and they're all blessings. I like, they've turned me into who I am today. That's all I have to say. And then about after that, 17 years old, I graduate high school online. I got my diploma, and I started to be like college phase, like, oh, let's go party. So I went to Mexico with some buddies, and yeah, that trip kind of went wrong. I was 17 years old. I had unlimited drinks because it was at a resort that was full of, it was unlimited, whatever it's called. I don't know the word right now, but and I got very intoxicated every single day, and there was drugs that came around, and it was cocaine, and I dabbled into cocaine in Mexico. And then after that, it was like it pulled me way back down to where I was like when I was 15 years old, 14 years old. And so once I got back home, I ended up like having that only thought in my mind is cocaine party. And so I literally found the parties. I went to campus, I would drink, I would continue to do cocaine, and all of a sudden that substance and that rush and that short-term thrill had pulled me way down and put me 2 years in like nothing. I ended up being a very, very big drug addict, a cocaine addict, and it pulled me down to like a homeless mentality. It pulled me down to where I wasn't taking care of my vessel, wasn't communicating with my family, wasn't doing anything of that line. I literally was an alcoholic and an addict, and I would drain myself. I would drown myself even more. I would, and it was in and out. I would get off, I would get clean, and then I would get back into it because I was running from all my problems and I wasn't facing them. And I was just going back down into depression. And it's easier to be good and to do the good and to be better rather than just sit back down and drain yourself again and numb it. Like, it's not good to numb. It's good to express. It's good to release. It's good to run. It's good to like do healthy things for the body, and it all will work out at the end of the day. It will make you feel a better person. And but so I got clean and got a girlfriend, whatever, and she lived with me. It was a rush moment, rush process, but yeah, and it was like within the few weeks of her first moving in, my mom had told me that she had leukemia and that she had to do chemotherapy, and it really hit me. It really was a lot of things going on at once in my life. A girl just moving in to my mom's with me, and my mom telling me she has cancer, and so that was another big like traumatic thing for me. And it was a lot for the girl to hold as well, so she ended up leaving, and I thank her for doing so, because it's not a time to be there, and not a place that it doesn't benefit me or her. I needed to focus on my family and me, and so I thank her for that. um, After all of that happened, I ended up not being able to handle my emotions, not being able to handle my problems, and I ended up running from my problems again. I ended up moving out of my mother's house to the boss that I was working for, and we did not do good things. He is an addict himself, and that didn't help me, because all of the traumas and all of the things that I was experiencing, from the girl leaving to my mom having cancer, um, really messed with me. So all I did was go there, and I ran from my problems, and once again I continued to run from my problems, and it's all is right here. It's never going away. You can't run from your problems. They're always in there. So it's like you have to face them at some point. It's easier to face them now. The time is now, rather than to keep running from them. I'm not regretting anything I have done in my life. I have learned and lived from everything that I have done in my life. And every day I learn. Every day there's a lesson to learn. So yeah, after all that, I ended up going back downhill, and my mom got really sick, and I had to go over there to do something for her, and I was upset about it. And I went over there, and there was like 100 prescriptions on the counter, and she was very, very, very sick. And I like broke down, and I realized what I was doing with my life. And once again, and I like came to, and I was like, what? Like, I, yeah, I bawled, I cried, I released all the emotions that I was running from. And I realized the further that I dropped, the further that my family dropped. And so I wanted to, yeah, be a better man, be a better person. So I used medicines again, mushrooms or other psychedelics, to help me see who I was again, and to help me get sober, to help me get clean. And after all that process, me and my brother Nathan, we decided to travel out west in a van. So I sold an Audi that I had, 17-year-old self, with an Audi that everybody would love as a 17-year-old man. But I sold it for this 1998 GMC G30 van, like a white, this society would call it a raper van. But yeah, and me and my brother Nathan ended up leaving Michigan and traveling. I only had $2,000 in my bank account. He only had like $3,000 in his, and we had we had a destination. We planned on Colorado, and we planned on working at a ski resort, and that was the only plan we had. So we left after Thanksgiving at my family's, and we traveled out west, and we saw a bunch of different cool things on the way. We went to Badlands, we went to Custer State Park and things like that. We went to Crazy Horse, a very powerful monument. The natives, keeping the native spirit alive is important. They were living correctly, and they took care of the land and things like that. And I think it's time for us to reflect back on the way they treated the land and treated mother. But yeah, anyways, we got to Steamboat and we lived in Walmart for about 2 to 3 weeks, and we applied for the resort job at the Steamboat Springs Ski Resort. And during the time, in the parking lot we lived in was Anytime Fitness, so we used that to shower. And yeah, and then used Walmart for the bathroom and things like that. We had a grill on our van. I will share the van probably later on. But yeah, 3 weeks goes on. We were running out of money, kind of. So I was like, yo, if we don't get a call within a few days, we're gonna have to move to the next location and try to find another job. So during those few days that we were waiting, about to leave, we get a call, and they said that we were hired in the same position, so we got to work together as well. And then they found out that we were living in a van, and it was like super cold, dude. Like, we don't have any heater in the van or nothing. Like, we had mummy sleeping bags, negative degree sleeping bags. I would wake up in the morning with icicles on my pillow, like so they ended up having employee housing, and so we ended up actually getting into employee housing and enjoying the whole winter at Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It was a true blessing, to be able to get the job, to be able to get that opportunity to be there, and to be able to share my energy and to be able to receive others' energies. It was a very powerful experience for me. And me and then yeah, to be honest, at the end, my brother Nathan was in a depressed state, and it was kind of pulling me down, and I started to run from it again, and I ended up drinking and doing like ketamine and things like that again. And then he had enough of me because I was not very nice to him during that time, because I don't know. I wasn't being nice. I wasn't being nice to myself. I wasn't being nice to him. I wasn't giving him the space that he needs and things like that and I couldn't see him at that state, and it was hard for me to see him at that state. But I know he had to deal with what he had to go through, but our paths he ended up going back to Michigan, grabbing a van, coming back to Colorado. We stayed for a few more weeks, and I ended up taking back off to Michigan. And after Colorado, he ended up going to New Mexico and traveling west and stuff and exploring a little more. I went back to Michigan and checked on my mom and things like that, and family. And then my cousin Nick, out in Montana, he gave me an opportunity, an offer to go travel to Montana for the summer, and I was super excited. I was ready for it, and so I was in Michigan for a few months. Then the offer was May. I left Colorado in January. The next offer was in May. So in between those 2 months, I was working a little bit with the contractor that I've always worked for, and like just being around family. And so the week when I'm ready to leave, I'm driving in my van to work, and all of a sudden my van won't start, and my van broke down, and I was like going through a hardship again, and I'm like, dude, I was gonna go to Montana, and now what do I do? And so I told my cousin, like, yo, like, I really don't have the funds right now. My van broke down, and he was like, I don't want you to miss this opportunity. I will pay for your flight. I'll do this and that. So I ended up buying a flight, packing a suitcase, one suitcase, and I went into Montana on a flight, and I ended up working on a beautiful lake, Harbor. Shout out Harbor Grill, fine dining, Lakeside, Montana. Yeah, Flathead Lake is a beautiful place. It's right next to Glacier Park and all of that fun stuff. I ended up working right there on the lake, and having free housing at a campground right across the street, and it was a little half-mile town, so I had no vehicle, I had nothing out there. And so my life was disciplined and freeing in the ways. I would go to work come back, go swim, go to the gym that was in the town. But that simple life made me stack money like no other. Like I didn't have anything that I wanted. I had it all there. I had work, I had my bed, I had the lake, I had the gym, I had nature, I had the mountains, everything. And so yeah, I ended up living in Montana, ended up stacking up some money, ended up getting a car because I wanted to go explore more of Montana. And and I got to experience and hike a bunch of different places. Hiked a bunch of glacier, yeah, Mount Aeneas and things like that. And I really, truly was diving deeper into who I am because there was nobody around. Like there was nothing. I had my cousin out there, but I would spend a lot of time alone. And spending a lot of time alone is a good thing in ways. And it really makes you see who you are as a man, as who you are as a woman, as who you are as a person, as who you are as a human, and what you are deep down, which is what we all are, and your true essence. And it helps you see who you want to be and who you need to be, rather than judgments of who they think you are and who they want you to be. It is very freeing to be able to think for yourself, to be able to do what self wants and things like that. Don't wait for anybody. Like if you want to go out to dinner and nobody else does, don't let that kill your inner peace. Go out to dinner, dude. Enjoy it. Like it's don't wait for anybody to enjoy your life, and it's all within you. This place right here, this heart, this head, it's within you. To go enjoy your life, to go live. Don't wait for anybody to live. Enjoy it while you have it. It's here. Um, yeah, Montana. After all that, I drove back. I went through Yellowstone National Park, drove back to Michigan, and visited family again. And yeah, started working for the same contractor, which was not a good idea because he was not in a good mindset and things like that. And so I was doing all of the work, but God blessed me, and my buddy Billy Wagner, it gave me a referral to another contractor. I reached out to him, and this contractor is truly amazing. This is a very blessing. He's Logan Friel, 30-year-old man that grinded, and he's now in business and owns 2 companies and things like that. And now that I'm working with him, I see the opportunity in opening up business and making the money to be able to travel freely and maybe get a van and other properties here and there. That's where I'm sitting at this moment. And yeah, but anyways, the goal, that's a little bit about myself. Main goal is to be able to express my life, to be able to share and to teach spiritual lessons, to be able to motivate in any way, going to the gym, diving deeper into your masculinity, diving deeper into your feminine, diving deeper into your soul, and coming together as a union, as a community rather than individuals. It starts within yourself. You have to create this character. You have to become who you're meant to be through all of the life lessons that life is teaching you, to be able to come out and share that with the world, to be able to share the love within ourselves outwards. What is in is out. And yeah, what is out is in. So it's important to make sure that this place is sitting good within. Yeah, so I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night whenever you are watching this, whenever you are seeing this. That is the introduction to my channel. My name is Zane Ironman. I am here to make this place, to make this world a better place for our children. Thank you.